What is up, y'all? It's your boy Winston Wolf. I'm back. I just wanted to do a quick video before I head off to work. I'm just going to do Obi-Wan episode 4 and 5 together because I didn't do it last week. It's just, real quick, nothing. It was just a boring episode of Obi-Wan. Barely had Vader in it at all. That's one of my problems with this show is you can't have an episode like that after you've introduced Vader. You've already had Vader stalking down the street, killing innocent people, whooping down everybody he comes in contact with. He's force choking his employees, all that. And then you have episode 3. Wait, no, it was episode 4, to where it was just he's barely in it. And I just think it was a blown opportunity. I mean, again, you don't want to have too much Vader because it kind of ruins the mystique. That's why I'm kind of wondering whether having Vader in this show was a good idea or not, rather than bring in different bounty hunters or something like that and showcase them and have Vader just, barely in it like in Rogue One. I'm just worried that, because eventually we're going to get a Darth Vader movie or a Darth Vader show. And if they just keep showing a bunch of them, it's not going to have that impact. So Obi-Wan episode 4, 0 to 10 dog bones, give it, I'll give it a 4. It's not a bad 4. It's just, it feels like it's out of place in the order. I mean, storyline, it makes sense, but just how much Vader is in it. It just feels like that should have been earlier on, and they should just ratchet it up more and more and more as they get to the end of the show. Obi-Wan episode 5, though, I really like this episode. Again, it's, I don't want to say guilty pleasure, because I don't feel guilty liking it. I love Star Wars. But there's some obvious glaring problems with episode 5. Number one is when we heard that Hayden Christensen, when there was going to be flashback scenes, of course you're going to think, as bad as Disney is at doing deep fakes, at least they didn't try to deep fake this at all. It looks like an old Ewan McGregor, an old Hayden Christensen. In the scheme of things, they're not old, but just for what's going on with the characters. And as Star Wars fans, we've watched these movies so many times. We've watched Revenge of the Sith. We've watched Attack of the Clones. So Hayden Christensen looking like that with the Padawan out, it just doesn't. He looks far too old to have the space mullet haircut, the Padawan tail thing. Far too old. I feel like at this point, I feel like Disney would be better off just finding people that want to get in the CGI game, the special effects game, whatever. And I mean, you can find hundreds, if not thousands of them on YouTube. People that do deep fake videos, all kinds of CGI on their own laptop, at home, not being paid for it, in their free time. And I feel like Disney would be better off just going to these people and being like, hey, here's an opportunity. We're not going to pay you, or we're going to pay you very little, but this is going to be your audition, your job interview. Can you do, can you do this 3-minute scene? Can you make Hayden Christensen look like he did in Attack of the Clones? Can you make Ewan McGregor look like he did in Attack of the Clones? And I don't know why they don't do it. It sounds like a scummy move, but I mean, if Disney is that, doesn't want to do it, at least try to do it for free. Have somebody, who's involved in that process be like, hey, before we lock this crappy version in, I went and I got this guy, to, do a little CGI test, with the deep fake. Check this out before we send everything to print. And, at least try, because they're not even, and that really, really stood out. But on the other hand, of course, being a Star Wars stan, I'm like, it's Hayden Christensen, it's Ewan McGregor, it's Obi-Wan and Anakin, Clone War era, come on. I can't hate it totally, If I wasn't a fan of it, yeah, I would tear it apart. I would talk about how garbage it was, how lazy it was, but I'm just happy to see it. So I guess you're not getting I guess it is completely honest coming from me. The other thing was Leia being able to repair the bay door so at the ship, so they can escape. And I'm just assuming you've seen this episode. If you haven't, I'm sorry. But, there's some wiring problems. They're like, boost Leia up, get her a ladder so we can put her in the ceiling and she can fix this. So, and this was like a snap decision. This was like, you have a whole room full of people that obviously know how to do these things. And on the flip side, you don't know if Leia can do this. She's a little 10-year-old girl, but you're just automatically like, yeah, she can fix it. Let's put all of our lives in her hands. It's see, if they would have set up something earlier on in the show, in the series, to where like maybe her brother or something, he has, a problem with opening the garage door so he can go take his space scooter out or whatever. And he's like, I can't get the door open. Leia's like, I got it. And then goes and fix it. And then later on that pays off. I still wouldn't like it, but that would explain it. All of a sudden she just knows how to fix, cargo doors, bay doors, all that kind of stuff. I just think having the Leia character, I understand having her in it, but just to the extent that they have her and how important she is and just the way they talk to her. And I think it was in episode 4 where the Inquisitor that everybody hates, which I don't really have a problem with, she's sitting there interrogating Leia like it's a scene from the first 48. And it's like, it's a 10-year-old girl. You're not going to put that much intellect, that much effort into it. Even if she is that smart, you don't know that she can comprehend these things. You don't know that she knows certain information. So why are you talking to her and interrogating her like she's a grown adult that has some kind of criminal past? I think that character and the way they portrayed it, Princess Leia, I mean, through this show so far, is the one thing that brings it down. When you have something like that and you start noticing little things like that, you start to notice a lot of other things. You start to hate a lot of other things. A lot of other things in the show start to bother you. And it's kind of like that with me, but like I said, I'm just happy to have this, especially after all these blown Marvel opportunities. I mean, I love Marvel and not as much as Star Wars, but it's just, they're not really giving us too much to hang on to. Maybe years from now, I'm going to, this show will pop up. I'll break my leg. I'll be stuck at home. I'll need some stuff to binge. I'll go back and watch it, and then I'll really hate it. Who knows? But right now, I'm just happy to see Darth Vader. You don't know how many times I've watched the Vader scenes from Rogue One. I've even watched Rogue One a few times all the way through, even though I think it's a good Star Wars movie, but it's not a like, hey, let's just throw this in type of movie, because there are parts to me that drag on and I'm really not into. But just the fact that I've watched the Vader scenes from Rogue One so many times, I'm happy to have this. Because it's like a bunch of little scenes that seem like they could have been deleted from Rogue One or something like that. But just more Darth Vader, I'm with it. But not too much. Because like I said, eventually in the future, we're going to get a Darth Vader show, a Darth Vader movie. And if you overuse them, it's not going to mean anything. We're going to be bored of it. Obi-Wan Episode 5. Despite its flaws, I'm going to give it an 8. And I don't care what you say. Like I said, I'm a Star Wars fan. Darth Vader him and Snake Plissken are my 2 favorite fictional characters of all time. So you're not going to convince me that I don't like it. So it's your boy Winston Wolf. I'm out.